Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Going into part 2 of today's episode of the Sprawl. I realized over the break that the like gnome mascot dude that I was describing he's just Torbjorn. It's Torbjorn from Overwatch.
Torbjorn.
Oh, I didn't realize you weren't doing that.
No, I wasn't on purpose, and then I was like, oh wait, I've just done
described Torbjorn.
Yeah, but like a more friendly Torbjorn. And not. I mean, I guess some people you could make.
Friendly.
He could make a turret for you, but not at this. Not at this particular.
Not at this particular Hasty Mart.
Is Overwatch cyberpunk?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Ooh, all right. Up for debate.
Disagree.
Wow, that was an angry no.
Up for debate.
Also, I'm looking at a picture of Torbjorn. He's clearly a dwarf. It says he's Swedish, but he's not Swedish.
I know, he's a dwarf.
From Moria or some shit.
Dwarves don't come from Moria. They just occupied it. Anyway, well, look, because like goblins lived there before, and the dwarves. There's like
we know.
So anyway, so you're in. I think you're outside. I guess I assume we start with the three of you going inside, and you get scanned. You get like retina scans and like body scans from the security system of the Hasty Mart, and it plays the little like "Welcome to Hasty Mart" jingle in your AR, and the store like lights up. Now most of the food container units here are like scratched beyond visibility. You can't see the pudding inside to save your life, but there's still a few people in the place, and they're currently, you see a group of two, like a boy and a girl, kind of in their early teens, arguing over what flavor of Doritos that they want to buy, over in one corner, and the little AR mascot guy turns to you, this little dwarf gnome guy, and says, I guess in whatever your AR is like set to, whatever language it's set to, he says like, "Welcome to Hasty Mart," and like waves for you to come on over, and he's like, "We've been waiting for you."
Can you say it in Japanese? Because that's what Neat has his AR set to.
Yeah, and it's like obviously super weird because he's like got a heavy accent, and then it disappears because they don't have the voice actor who speaks that accent in Japanese, and it'll be great.
Yeah, someone reading phonetically, a Swedish person reading Japanese phonetically.
Mine's in Norwegian.
Yeah. And yeah, so he invites you over, and I think that he says like, I assume you don't. Well, no, you're like a legit citizen.
Yeah.
So he says, "It's good to see you again, Miss Larson. Your order is ready." And you hear like there's a couple of like beeps and boops as you enter the AR sphere of the main terminal, and it starts to extrude something in the little easy bake oven tray. You can see the little like thing creating something on the tray as you walk up.
I suppose it's less of a meeting and more of a delivery.
Okay, so we see these little arms, and they're painted, Hasty Mart white, little plastic arms that come down, and yeah, one of them starts to extrude plastic, and the other is like grabbing filaments and essentially building this device. And we can see pretty quickly the plastic casing of the device is being built up. We can see circuits being assembled, soldering being done. It's building something small and electronic. Maybe looks like a remote control. We see a number pad being created. A little screen gets put on, and then it finishes. There's a moment where it makes a little like ticking sound. You can see it heat baking the plastic, and then it dings. It's a nice, pleasant ding. Everybody else in the Hasty Mart like looks over when they hear that ding sound, because it means somebody is taking something out of the oven. And then the tray folds down and it clatters down into the tray where you can pull it out like a
So I reach down and like pull out whatever this object.
It's still warm. It's like a cinnamon bun out of the oven, but it's a phone. And it rings as soon as you take it out of the thing. It starts to ring.
Well. Flip it over.
Okay. Yeah, and of course, because it's cyberpunk, it's got the like snap down,
yeah,
like
of
a
course.
Matrix phone.
Of course, that's exactly what I imagined. Just like the.
Yeah. So You hear the little opening jingle of Hasty Mart Telecommunication Corporation, welcoming you to use their service, and then it connects your call, and you hear a voice on the other end that says, "Hello, Miss Larson."
Hello yourself. I'm afraid I don't have the advantage of being able to greet you.
Yes, I'm afraid that's by design. I represent a client. I'm working for Carson, Jensen, and Schmidt, and I don't know. Maybe you've heard the name before, but you can't necessarily place it. And he says, "I'm operating as a go-between, my client and you. I understand this puts you at a bit of a disadvantage, but I assure you that if you give us a moment to explain what we need you to do, you'll find that it'll be well worth the temporary discomfort."
Please continue. I say, using my communication, like while he's talking, using my encrypted communications to broadcast to the other two who are here, like what's happening.
Right. So what you're hearing,
I'm hearing it, and they're hearing what I'm hearing.
God, that'd be weird. So you're hearing Flamingo's actual voice, and you're hearing what she hears in the phone. Are you listening at home, Cathode?
I mean, I guess if
The signal would be open should you want to.
I'm assuming that you just have like a regular like group chat, and you just click on it, and like so suddenly in my ear is just what you're hearing, and I can hear like you hearing your voice.
Cathode's jams are interrupted by Flamingo.
Oh yeah, she's totally got like some like really loud like pop music on, and then suddenly like phone call, and I think that
I hate
makes
that
sense.
shit. You're jamming out to a good tune, you forget to mute your text messages, and you just keep dipping out. It's the worst.
Yep, that's
Okay.
what happens.
So you can hear all of this stuff too, but you're just at home. All right. So this lawyer, he says, well, pursuant to the post that you left on whatever gives you the name of the serial number or IP of the base, he says, my employers believe that you would be appropriate for this job. Now, this conversation is subject to discretionary use. I'll be transcribing it and sending it to the client, but of course, everything that we talk about here is protected from all law enforcement agencies. If you look at your AR display, and when you do, like, you just kind of like tell it you're a CC it. There's a contract, and it's basically it's from the law offices of Carson, Jensen, and Schmidt, and it basically just says like for a fee of like you're gonna pay him essentially like $1. You're gonna pay him like a fraction of a credit, and in exchange, that makes you his client for the duration of the call, so that client attorney privilege applies to this call.
Yeah, I sort of with a flick of my wrist in like a pen motion on the AR, I sign off the contract.
Yeah, so he sees it. He's like, excellent, thank you. Now, if you could pass the same along to your friends. And then because he knows that you're probably like broadcasting. So everybody else, you get a little like the little seal of the law firm appear on your.
I'm just super confused, and like I think I like connect to the call, and I like whisper to using my communication stuff. I'm like, what am I signing? Flamingo?
just sign it, Cathode. It's to protect our interest.
Okay, but like, and then she just like trails off and like disconnects, and you like see her signature like with like a star over the I for Kathy, and
Sure.
yeah.
Okay. So yeah, QQ and you both get this. Your options are either sign or disconnect. I'm curious if either of you are gonna take that latter option.
I mean,
I keep things rolling smoothly.
Yep, my signature comes in the form of like you see it printing across. It's like an imperial seal, just like in ink. It's like
Nice.
love it.
Cool. So that so that shows up on your display. Everybody signs it, and once he's got all the signatures, he says, "Thank you, Miss Larson. Now, You're familiar, of course, with Disney Bezos Hypermedia.
Very familiar.
Well, as you may not know, they have a legacy business in shipping, moving goods from one megaplex to another.
I can see where the conflict might arise if that were the case.
And he says they've been looking for a partner to move cargo overseas from the megaplex over to some of the North American conflict zones. They're looking to partner with a business I'm sure you are equally familiar with, by the name of Krug.
Yes, I'm also very familiar with the Krug Combine.
So these two organizations are looking to make a deal. My employers want this deal not to go through. They're going to be having a meeting, some important executives, all very back channel. We need you to interrupt the meeting as aggressively and as permanently as possible.
Permanent interruption. Gotcha.
Yes, it would be of utmost benefit to my employers if these particular executives could no longer attend meetings whatsoever, if you follow my meaning.
I give QQ a look.
QQ is purchasing a lollipop from one of the machines. And it just shrugs. Where like guns are dangling low.
Yeah.
To grab the lollipop.
You're over by like the extruder. You're at one of its little like pods, and it's making you some like custom candy. There's a little 3D model of like.
Oh yeah. It's making me cute custom candy, and then I'm gonna make a cool T-shirt with it later.
Yeah.
I'm just like having fun.
Cool. There are a bunch of like local kind of like scrappy like kids like between the ages of like 9 and 12, maybe like a half dozen of them who've like gathered around you to watch the extruder work. And that we're giving you advice on what colors to pick and like, no, do the hot dog, oh, but I like the hot dog.
Like I'm playing along with them, yeah, because that's cute and fun. I'm into that.
Yeah. And they're basically like getting in arguments about what the coolest thing you can extrude is, and like these are kids that like, and there's no adult around like in charge of them. They're in the store. They probably spend a lot of time in here because it's warmer than it is outside, but not by much. And they have opinions about all the different stuff that this store sells.
Totally.
Yeah. They know the best candy to buy at the Hasty Mart.
Cyber Twitch chat.
Yeah. But they're not being like aggressive about it. They're just really excited someone's using the extruder, and they all want to like show off that they know how it works. So yeah, we look over and we see you extruding some customized candy thing. And so we cut back to the conversation, and this guy he says he asked you, he says, do you have any questions?
How important is the property where this meeting will take place?
Well, unfortunately, neither my firm nor my employers know where this meeting is taking place. That's going to be part of the work. But we don't. Important. There's no. He says, I have no stipulation here about the location. It's the executives that are the issue, and the meeting itself. Feel free to deal with it as you see fit.
All right. I'm just thinking a large amount of people. I think we can handle this. Certainly.
QQ fires a little message to you to ask him, which is just like, how many of them are cybered up? How much security?
My associate makes a good point. How much security are we thinking? How cybered up are the executives? How heavy are we going to have to go? Any information you can provide will make this go smoother.
Yeah, he says, we haven't been provided with specific dossiers on the executives. Part of the issue is that this is a back channel deal, unofficial, unpublicized, and well, I can't speak to the executives, but we can send you a basic security outline on Disney Bezos and Krug and their respective security teams, but I have a feeling that this is all going to be information you've already heard before.
I can't imagine you have anything new to say that's standard to either of those companies. No.
So it wouldn't be useful at all to you what one side of the deal removed, in the sense that then you would have an opportunity to renegotiate with your own client instead.
he you can hear there's a moment where he's trying to figure out who he's talking to. And then he looks at the list and kind of by process of elimination, he looks at the signatures and stuff, figures it out, and then kind of like clears his throat. And he says, the instructions my client gave me were very specific. Interrupt the meeting. See to it that both organizations are suitably disposed towards abandoning this project, and you'll get paid.
I do enjoy that.
Speaking of the pay, and then we need to
let's make
negotiate
that
the
move.
And then we ante. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So let's make that move.
Are you getting the job or am I getting the job, Dave?
Which of us has got the most edge?
I have 2.
I also have 2.
I mean,
don't mind if you want to do it then.
Fictionally, it sounds like you're getting the job, Flamingo.
Yeah, it does.
Yep. Now that we're both on it, there's no need for me to.
Okay. 8.
Okay. All right. So, choices to be made.
So choose one from the list below. Job pays well, the meeting doesn't attract attention, or the employer is identifiable. And the other 2 are gear and intel, but I guarantee we don't want those ones. Like, I'm just wiping them off the list right now.
Okay.
What do you think, team? I'm sort of interested in their identity. Because they're an outside law firm contracting us to kill Krug and Disney Bezos employees.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely like that curious, but we have the chance to discover that at the end as well.
That's true. The pay might be worth more.
Well, actually, I was going to go the other way, and I was going to recommend if this meeting gets back to us, since we are going to be acting against Krug,
yeah, we're gonna have
we don't want to do that. So if they don't have any idea this meeting took place and they can't trace it back to us,
so no attention. You think?
I think that's probably most sensible. If we don't want hit squads like actually coming to our houses and killing us.
let's do that. Let's do that. So the meeting is doesn't attract any attention, Adam.
Okay, perfect.
And so we got to ante our cred.
So it's regular pay.
Yeah.
And you don't know who you're working for. No ident. But also no attention. Okay. All right. Wicked. So how much credit is everybody going to stake on?
I'm gonna put 2 in.
Job? Okay, so let me go spend 2. QQ also 2. Neat. How many are you going to put in?
2.
Okay. And Cathode?
Yeah, I'm gonna do 2 as well.
Okay.
Nobody pushed the legwork clock.
Yay, the Lord.
Okay. All right. So everybody puts you're gonna put 2 credit behind it, and yeah, and now we begin the legwork phase. So what do you need to do? This is on you. You tell me. I think that you finish the call, and yeah, and the lawyer on the other side makes a statement like, for the record, this terminates the services of Carson, Jensen, and Schmidt on behalf of one Erica Larson and company. And he says you'll receive our invoice between 3 and 5 business days. And when you take the phone away from your head and you hit the button, it just starts to like crumble. It just starts to come apart. Its half-life is over. It was a one call phone, and yeah, just like it like immediately like some big part of it breaks off, and then the rest of it just starts to like come apart in chunks in your hands.
It occurs to me that probably the 3 to 5 business days, the business days part is probably redundant in the cyberpunk future. It's just things people have always said, but like every day is a business day.
Every day is business day. Yeah, it's true. Well, also different corporations would have different like corp weeks made up of a number of business days, right? Like the business day is a standard amount of time. It's 24 hours. And then you build your corporate week out of X amount of business days. So like the Show Nintendo Onisoft week is probably 26 business days long.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I look at the two who are present, and I keep my comms open for Cathode, and I say, I already know someone who might be able to help us with the location of these. What would you call them? Like meeting associates, and time and place. So.
And like Kathy's like interrupts you a little bit, and then she's like, and like shuts up for a second because you're all like imposing and stuff.
What is it, Kathy?
They were, and like she turns on the encryption on her thing, like if it wasn't on already, which it probably was, but like she like makes sure that it's on. She's like, they're asking us to kill people, right?
Yes, we're going to kill a whole room of people, more than likely.
It's going to be fantastic. This one's really simple. I don't think we can get in as much trouble as last time. Or if we do, we're actually doing the job better.
Okay. And she's just like, she shuts up knowing that she's like not in like her
hearing her reticence.
Yeah.
I just say over the call, like, we'll talk when we meet in person.
Yeah, of course. And then she just like disconnects. Like she doesn't want to hear like the discussion of like, how are we going to kill these people? Like, she goes back to trying to fiddle with things. Yeah.
So heavy ordnance, find the location, time and location of this meeting. If you have contacts within Krug or within Disney Bezos, now's the time to access them. I'll be doing the same. And well, any other way that you might be able to find out the information. Streets, acquire the gear you need. I'll
And yes,
soon.
yes, QQ. I will get set up for this one. We've got I've actually got a reason to buy more stuff.
The conversation from before of like, how are you gonna help me with just a pistol comes into play right now.
Yeah, and like, yeah, QQ's like looking at you but hasn't said anything, and then she just like giggles.
Dangerous.
So I guess that sort of moves us into the legwork phase montage. You know,
Yeah.
like that scene would close there. I
Yeah,
imagine.
I have a couple moves that I would like to make. The storage, and I was wanting to do a customizer. And let me know if this is something that you think I can do, Adam. But I'll just broadcast the move. But I was wanting to take one of the arms from one of Flamingo's drones, and I want to modify it so it can be just a basic cyber arm for Flamingo.
Okay. All right. So I have to tell you, this is the
Customizer.
No, this is the Savvy Head workspace move, basically.
Yeah.
Sort of.
Sort of. Okay. When you try to modify a piece of tech, discuss what tags or game effect. So you don't want it to.
I don't want it to do anything except for be an arm.
Be an arm. So it's
and be an arm that like matches her other arm, so it's not awkward. You know, I don't want it to be a negative modifier arm. I just want it to be an arm.
So normally you would have to buy a prosthesis and then pay someone to have it installed.
But I can do both of those things if I just take one off her drone and I can install it because I am an expert in cyberware. If I can install on myself, I can install on someone else. So.
And yeah, the basic, like, it's just an arm that works cyberware is like super cheap and easy. I don't even think it requires that you go under the knife. I'm trying to read up on it.
Yeah.
I think it's just part of getting like healed.
Yeah.
Normally, but
it's expensive.
Flamingo exempted herself from that.
Yeah, and that's why, because you don't want to pay. It was like 1 or 2 cred, I think. Okay. I mean, I think you have a workshop, but you don't have like a hospital. Like you need like attaching a metal arm that's not designed for human use to a human body requires splicing it into the neural network of the person, attaching it to their bones in a very literal way. And so you need a space that's like sterile and safe to do that in.
But it says here that you have workshops appropriate to your areas of expertise when you choose expert. So by taking an advance in expert, wouldn't I like also get an advance in my workshop?
How did? Yeah, sure.
In the expert move.
Oh yeah, no, I know. But I mean, how did that happen? What did you do? Like, I would like to know narratively how. Catherine did that. Yeah, like where did you get all this shit from? It didn't just appear out of nowhere.
No, that's true. I mean, I guess like that's the problem with the like taking an advance in a section of the move. Like, at what level do you like limit it?
I mean, it's not limited. I'm just curious.
No, just like tell us how. Yeah.
I mean, maybe obviously, in order to become an expert in cyberware, I had to go be taught, or at least learn from somebody. They probably were like, here's your stuff to practice this. If it was Karsh or whatever.
He doesn't like any of you. He would not help until you pay him.
Okay.
Because you still owe him credits. And so he's not a friend. He's like someone you owe money to as a group. So yeah, I mean, that's my question, right? Is like, do you have somebody else?
Do I have to? So you're asking me to declare a contact?
No. I'm just asking to understand where like Cathode as a person would like get this stuff from. But it is really weird because it does say like you just get it, and then it leaves it for you to justify. So
I'm assuming that wherever she learned the cyber tech from, she also got like, maybe there's schools, you learn things in this universe. People learn things. She went to go learn things in downtime and got like you're learning cyberware, here's your startup kit. And maybe like she has the Faraday cage all set up already. I'm sure that it's not, I mean, it's probably a fucking mess. Now that I think
but she can also build her own stuff too, right? Like if there's basic equipment that she needs, she could probably make it.
Yeah.
Able to make robotic.
No, it's when you get your community college degree in cyberware from Disney Bezos, you get like a rebate token on the starter kit for cyberware shit from the store that is next door.
You can buy like a little pod, like operating theater pod that you can plant down, and it opens up and has like tools and stuff. And you put.
I'm becoming more of an exceptional human. Of course, I would.
Yeah,
get
of course,
sponsored to do
of course.
that. Of course. I have my exceptional human cyberware starter kit room that they gave to me.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's like it's a bit like Scientology in that like there are levels and things you can pay for and stuff, but ultimately there's some other authority that decides. Like you can't be like, here are the 10 steps to become an exceptional person. Someone just decides that, but there's all these like courses that are like how to like, you know, increase your chances of being chosen.
Increase your chance of being exceptional.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that there's some kind of hard sell, like learn things to be great.
Well, there's definitely like personal life coaches that study all the people who've ever been chosen and are like, you can imitate their like the 50 habits of highly exceptional people, that kind of thing, like those sorts of bullshit inspiration courses. Those are definitely real.
Maybe it's like a rental room. I don't know if it's in her space as much as the like drone room is. Maybe it's just like you can go somewhere and be like, I need a clean room, and like, you know, slide a card saying like I have access to this technology, like I'm allowed to do this, and then you just like open a door to a clean room, do what you have to do, and then it washes itself. Maybe it's not in her space. It's just it's something that you can do. You can have a clean room. You can go and pay to get a clean room.
It's like space you have access to. Yeah.
But as a part of her like college, whatever, when she learned to cyberware, as a part of that, she gets access to clean rooms without having to give like a cred every time or whatever.
It's like the Build-A-Bear stores, except for making people into robots.
Totally. Yeah. I like
that. Makes sense to me. I don't think she would actually have it like attached to her space suddenly. It's not in her apartment, but it makes sense that when she learned cyberware, she also got access to a clean room to practice the cyberwaring.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think then it'll just take you the time to do it because you're not trying to do anything fancy.
Okay. Then yeah, that's all I wanted.
Yeah.
And then I do storage. So wow. 8.
Okay.
So I get 1 gear.
Relevant to your chosen. Oh, the other thing, the other cost in terms of the arm is it's gonna cost time in one of the drones.
Okay.
Because you have to take not just
Well,
the
then I
arm, but like a
will-
bunch of its internal circuitry. And I guess
discuss that.
Flamingo's permission
Yes.
is the other necessity. But yeah, okay. So you have one gear relevant to either cyberware or drones and vehicles, and you can pop that out later.
I'm likewise going to do my version of that.
Okay.
What?
All right.
And
Roll that edge.
what? 9. So one hold.
Okay. All right. So you have a nebulous hold that you can spend for a piece of gear you need or to appear where you're needed. Okay.
Indeed.
So everybody goes home to start making plans and start developing, digging through their gear. Do you want to, Catho, do you want to have a conversation with Flamingo about installing this drone arm?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's do that. Like you saw the picture of me completely dismantling your shit, and
Yeah, so I come over to your place if I can, or
yeah, no, she's totally fine with you coming up to her miraculous and beautiful apartment.
Yeah, speaking of which, the fuck, miraculous and beautiful. You know
It's
what I mean?
gorgeous
It's one of those
and
things where like
very
I live
Disney.
down at the lower end, and you're up here in the fucking castle.
I live in a
Literally.
filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you if you were like, where are you? I need to see. She would like send you an address that's like up in this fancy area. I don't know if you guys
so-
have ever been in her apartment before because y'all are in your own shit all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you get a knock on your door probably like an hour after you tell me where it is.
And so yeah, Kathy is I think that she has like these bright pink like gloves that she wears when she's messing with the drones, because obviously they have all sorts of oils and like fluids in them that are gross. And so she like comes up to you and she like bumps or nods the door open, like she doesn't touch anything, and she's just like, this way, and like completely rushes you past, like beautiful like golden light filtering in the windows, the fake books on the walls, and you're just like the rose underneath the thing with the like one petal like in the
Aw.
motion of falling, like it's frozen there, and
That's
like
nice.
rushes you past all that into the like the Faraday cage area.
A nice place followed by a secret place. I like it. How's the drone repair coming?
Well, I wanted to talk to you about that and she completely ignores everything that was discussed before. And she's got just like bits and pieces of one specific drone. The other ones are kind of looking like put together, but one specific drone all over the floor. And she's just like, I wanted to talk to you about that because, you know, like your whole, I mean, I think that I can, and she's totally not making any sense. Like she's skipping past the parts that are relevant.
Because she doesn't want to like offend Flamingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, I think that I can, you know, I mean, if it's okay with you, I just wanted to maybe, you know, with your this and like, do you think, yeah?
You're going to have to repeat that.
I just,
And
okay.
like QQ chimes in with just like, she wants to put an arm on you, boss.
Yeah. I mean,
See, she could have just said that. Kathy, if you can do that, then perfect.
but you see, I would have to take parts from, well, this guy. I know he doesn't look like, but yeah.
I don't just look like a guy, but this guy. That's true.
So you would only have, I don't know, however many that you have. How many drones did you have in fiction?
8.
You'd only have 7, but 7's a good number. I mean, you can do a lot with 7 drones.
So what you're saying is that you're going to use the arm from this drone.
I would need some of the inner bits to. You wouldn't be able to use it anymore.
I like look at the assembled drone at the arm You know, like
it's not that easy. I mean, I don't know how much you know, and she's doing the whole like, you don't know what you're talking about, but doing it in a like, I'm a teenager kind of way. Like, I know what I'm doing.
Of course. I don't doubt that you know how to put one of these arms onto my arm. I'm just considering whether or not that's the kind of appendage I want to have.
I mean, obviously, Catho didn't take the Hippocratic Oath because the first rule is do no harm.
Oh my god, please. I mean, if you wanted to just not have an arm, that's totally cool. I mean, that's your choice. Like, no arm, right? It's like it's garbage, okay? Like, how can you do anything without an arm?
I love how it's like, it's the new crit. You can choose to do it. Don't do it. I love it.
So, I mean, like, you're tough and stuff. But like, don't eat. I can make it look nice. Like, and she like pulls up her shirt. She's like, look at how nice this looks. Like,
Clunk,
it's
clunk, clunk.
shiny and pink and like.
Please, Cathode. I love that you're asking me to do this, but please do not make my arm shiny and pink.
I make it cool.
Just black like the drone.
So you're saying I can do it?
Yes.
Yes. And she's basically like immediately like measuring all of your like arm stuff with her, like in her AR, of course. She wouldn't like, tailor the shit. But she's just like, all right, just stand right there, like put your arm out, like, okay, like gotta get measurements. And now she's like looking at some other thing like in AR, like putting it together, and like you can see the pieces like on the floor are arranged in a way so that like in AR she could like pick them up and like put them together. Very Iron Man. And she's just like immediately ignoring you now and like putting the stuff together. And
I look over to Kathy again and I say, how long do I need to stand here? Can I take a call?
Oh yeah, no, I'm done. I just like whatever, and just ignores you again. And then you guys can like hear like probably, I don't know how music works with the communication relay.
It's okay, I don't either. You get a guitar and you hit it with stuff, and I don't know, music comes out.
No, I think it might be.
So you think we hear
out.
like this? We hear like this sort of like vague echo of whatever music you're listening to jam out while you're working.
Yeah, it just she just like turns it up really loud for her, but for you guys, it's just kind of like an echo where a room wouldn't echo.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And so, yeah, she's ignoring you completely.
Could be here for a while, QQ.
I'm just like, I'm gonna go shopping then.
Yeah, enjoy the upscale neighborhood and Disney-related merchandise.
The second you say Disney, she's like, oh my god, but really there's this one tea shop that you have to go to.
I leave. So I guess I just hang around while Kathy works.
I get all the stuff ready, yeah.
So I guess that's your legwork thing, or one of them. Was there a roll we need to do?
No, there's no roll. That was just the thing. That was just
cool.
Because it's one again. It's not really a move. It is a move, but it's not a move you roll because it's just like MC will tell you the requirements, and I did.
Okay.
So one of your drones is disassembled in a
and I have an arm that works now. Yeah. A nice Freyr branded drone arm.
And I guess it's just black.
I mean, unless you do something to it while I'm unconscious, which I assume I'm gonna have to be for at least some of this.
I could have a carbon fiber matte black body, I would do it in a fucking second.
Right?
I feel like she probably thinks like, oh, she'll probably want to change this at some point. And she does the same thing that she has with her drones where they can like match her outfit.
I do like the.
So it's a responsive
the
AR implanted arm. Yeah, definitely. So she makes it so that it's like, you'll change your mind, and I'm gonna make it so that we can change this when you change your mind, that you want it to be not
Kathy.
just like regular.
Kathy, please.
Yeah.
I love it. All right.
So while that's going on,
what's everybody else doing?
Yeah. Neat, what are you doing?
I need to hit the street and find some hardware.
Hardware?
I need a sword and I need some body armor.
So you need a weapons dealer.
Ooh, a sword.
I need a sword. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Help me come up with an appropriate. Is this someone you know from your Show Nintendo past?
It could be.
An
Yeah. Do we have
artisanal weaponsmith? What's the
Artisanal cyberpunk?
Yeah, man. Well, no, this would be like the dude whose whole jam is like he's the cyberpunk equivalent of Hanzo Hattori. Yeah, like you know, you meet him in a hidden room above a sushi restaurant or a video arcade. But he doesn't make any he doesn't make his own weapons. He makes like perfect replicas of all the greatest weapons of all time.
Amazing.
But I don't know, Dave. Talk to me about your arms dealer friend, because it's your jam declaring the contact. So,
yeah, I think, yeah, I quite like the idea of it, like mainly being like a replica and prop store, but it's also just a front for actual weapons.
I mean,
as well.
I feel like you wouldn't have to be a front, like. It's what is the purpose? There's this whole Baudrillard thing of like, why make a replica when you can make the sword itself, right? Like, why have a false pretend version of Excalibur when I can craft you Excalibur, right? And like, it's like pattern recognition goes into this a little bit around like this obsessive like sourcing the material from the same place it would have been sourced from, and like recreating things that no longer can be made, like mass produced. Like these things would be one-offs, but they would be one-off replicas, using as close to reality. Like, so if you were to make
like replica that's so perfect that it's like more,
it might as well be the real thing. Yeah. The map is the territory where like the, if you were making a replica of Excalibur, he would source like steel, it would source iron from England because
goes and quenches it in a lake.
Yeah, exactly. Like it would yeah, there's a purpose to this, and you're buying the experience of having a thing that was made in the most perfect way possible. Because I think replicas, anybody can buy a replica, but you want like a the platonic ideal of the thing, right?
All right, so like this guy's street name is obviously like Muramasa, the legendary swordsmith.
Yeah.
Like you got to say the whole thing.
Yeah.
Muramasa, the legendary swordsmith.
This is their full legal name.
Yeah. So I'll get.
I feel like someone in chat asked this: if it's a perfect Excalibur replica, do I still become King of England? If it's a real proper, if Muramasa the legendary swordsman is doing his job, yes, you would, by owning the sword.
Once you pull it from the stone.
By pulling the sword from the stone, which would be a very difficult task, but by doing that, it would grant you legal rights to be the King of England. But it's okay because England's been broken up into a bunch of like sub properties anyway. But yes, if you want to become King of the Britons, he could make you a sword that would convey that legal right to you.
Perfect.
So
yeah.
Good.
So it's like the weird kind of situation where like in Persona 5 you can just like walk up to this store and there's just a guy who will sell weapons to children, and he's just there and you're just like, yeah, fine, this is I guess something that happens.
Yeah.
But this guy is very renowned.
Somewhere in yes, Trist, you can buy Thunder Fury, Blessed Blade of the Windseeker. Somewhere in the Megaplex, yeah, there is this thing that on the outside, it's probably somewhere really out of context. It's probably like in a mini mall or something. Like there's like an Orange Julius on one side of it and like a Dairy Queen on the other. But then there's also this like bamboo storefront where when you walk in, it's all shakuhachi and like bamboo flutes and like waterfalls and the sound of a forge in the background.
Hell yes.
And it's this like completely other thing, and it's all obviously all like real stuff or as close to real stuff as you can get. And so you're in this thing. So we see you walking through this mall like teenagers with big gulps and stuff passing you, and then you go into the sword shop, the forge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. So Like, does this exist, or is this a contact for me? Because if it's like a store, then it's just a thing.
I mean, not anybody can just come in and buy swords from Muramasa, this legendary swordsmith. You know this person. You have earned at least the right to like browse.
Oh my god! I tell you why. I don't know. Like the competitive VR game that I play is actually like imagine For Honor but full VR and competitive, and I am a big deal online. So like I post because like maybe one of the it's totally like the reward for winning this like league or placing in like the top 10. You get like to enter there.
Proxy wars are fought in this game, right? Like actual like territorial and resource battles. Like the South China Sea has passed hands several times, depending on which team is winning the online like battle. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, and like highest contributor for like X battle place was me, and I've won the right to like head to one of these stores and like get myself a thing made, and normally it's like super exclusive.
Yeah, I think when you walk in, there is all this like do you mind if I describe the NPC, or do you have
no go for it?
Okay, so when you walk into this store, I think again like every good, it's not a store, it's a workspace. So there's no evidence of merchandise. It's not you see racks of swords on the wall. We have like on one side a kind of like a sand, like a Zen garden. There's a pool with some artificial koi like swimming around in it. There's a faint like smell of like mountain air and like a mist kind of hovering over the floor. And it's all generated very nicely, but faintly over the kind of disembodied sounds of like traditional kind of period like Japanese music. We can hear the muted sound of Bring the Ruckus by the Wu-Tang Clan, faintly like somewhere in the back of the room. And I think that as you walk through, we see Muramasa, the legendary swordsmith, and he's wearing he's a black kid. He's got his hair in cornrows. He's maybe like 25 at the oldest. He's got these huge bright yellow headphones on, and he's sketching in AR. He's sketching a sword on a big AR display. He's wearing a big long like basketball jersey. And he has some like vintage like Air Force Ones on, and he's just like bobbing his head and like sketching out this sword in his space. And you walk in, and in the back room, this is where he actually does the forging. So there's like a big like metal tub with water in it, and the other like hammers and various like tools, accoutrement of his trade. And when you walk in, he like turns and pulls his headphones off, and then we can hear like the music like comes out, the throbbing of the bass. We can hear Method Man shouting something in the kind of low end of the soundtrack. And he gets up and he's smiling, and he walks over to you, and he gives you he gives dap, like he grabs your hand, pulls you in, slaps you on the back, and gives you a pound, and looks you over. And how are you dressed? Do you have weapons on you? Or give us a quick like visual of what your going shopping outfit looks like.
The going shopping outfit for this one is definitely like Japanese inspired. It's like mostly cloth, but doing the kind of Tron Legacy neons in the hems and under the collars sort of thing. And I probably have like a couple just like kind of crappy, well, probably not crappy, but they're not this guy's, like visible, like long sheath ornate katanas. Like I've probably got two. I'm probably not even ambidextrous. I've just got two. And yeah, like a scarf up, and then yeah, that's probably it. It's mostly dark cloth, and then like neon trimming-y stuff.
Cool. When was the last time that you interacted with this guy, with Muramasa?
Yeah, like I've probably always like wanted something from him, and a lot of people obviously do, but he doesn't make stuff on request even for people he knows. And we're probably pretty close in terms of like maybe we fought together, maybe we've been on like the same teams. He's been like a celebrity like controller of these proxy people. He's been like a celebrity general or whatever.
Yeah, I think he gets flown around a lot on like tour with other people. He's in the background of like a lot of shots. Like I don't know if you've seen like photos of like hip hop groups particularly. There's always like, here are the people who are actually in the group, and then here's a bunch of other people that like no one recognizes except from other photos of the same group. And so he's that guy. He's just like in the background of a lot of stuff. And people just kind of like have him around because, you know, he's one of those artisans. There's a name in Japanese for like a person who just does like one thing and only one thing and does it incredibly well. Shokunin, I think. But the point is, like, there's a thing where he's just, everybody knows him to have a good sense of style and design. So he'll like show up at like architectural like summits. He's big into a bunch of different like street fashion scenes, but he makes swords. He's just part of like a lot of different circles. And that's where you and him overlap, and that
God, yeah.
He's been in the background of promo shots for you.
And Show Nintendo, like high corporate directors and stuff, will actually have ceremonial like Muramasa katanas.
Yeah, of course, yeah, it's a gift. He was the guy that crafted the ritual suicide sword for like Reggie the 22nd at his like
Oh my god.
after the whole like Sega uprisings, and Reggie had to like leave the company. He crafted him this sword. And I think that he's just home now. He's back in the Megaplex after a big launch tour for some like reboot of like Jet Set Radio Future or something. So he's probably got like a big chunky bright green like Casio, like a G-Shock watch or something that's part of the promotional tour. And just looking at him, like that watch would be worth enough to pay like your team for a year. He's all about that like massively luxe gear in that way. So so he slaps your back and gives you the pound, and then he kind of like looks you up and down, and he's like, I knew you were coming.
And I try and like look stoic and cool and like nod, but I'm just like, like excited, like grinning.
Yeah. He's like, I had a dream about you, man. I had a dream. And he like turns and he grabs the AR thing he's working on, and he just like kind of throws it into a storage corner. And he says, let me blow your mind. And he like swoops up this AR image of a and his are kind of like yours. It's all very stylized. So when he like pulls it up, instead of it just appearing, it's like carried into your view by a holographic crane that's somewhere between like a ukiyo-e painting and like a piece of graffiti. So it kind of like squirms across the space between you. What is it that he's been preparing to make for you? What is this thing?
I think it's I think we're gonna go kind of No More Heroes style. Do you know No More Heroes?
Mm-hmm.
Like the kinds of weapons they have, the beam katanas, basically one of those. Like it's not actually a conventionally bladed sword at all.
Right, like some kind of like high-tech plasma weapon kind of thing.
and that's what like really sets this apart and makes it new, because like people don't have this. They all have like actual steel swords, and he's like come up with this, and I'm just like my mind's completely blown by it.
Yeah, and I think he shows it to you, and he maybe he sees your skepticism, because he you know, people have been trying to do these kind of like contained plasma field things, and he says, he's like, I know what you're thinking. It's gonna be huge. You're gonna blow up, but it's okay. You can handle it. And he like reaches out and puts his hand on your shoulder and looks you like seriously in the eye. He's like, the blade is in your mind, brother. And he turns and he's like, well. And I think he like opens a container. He's got a case, this polished, it's like polished cherry wood case, and he opens it. And let's have you make the move. Let's see how what you're gonna have to pay for this.
Jeez, yeah.
But he's
Okay.
already made it for you in knowledge of your coming. It's a little bit of a visionary.
And this is hit the street.
Yes, yeah.
Which is the thing that I am absolutely worst at, but
Okay.
whatever.
It just means the cost
we'll
might be high. All right.
8.
You got an 8. So on hit the street, what is an 8?
Choose 2.
Yeah, it's choose. Regress is going to cost extra. Going to take some time. Attract unwanted attention, complication, consequences. Absolutely. And I think I want a side thing from him. Yeah,
Okay.
he needs help with something, and it's going to attract unwanted attention. Except it's obviously wanted attention, but
Yes,
like
unwanted for the mission. The questions. What's funny about these questions is that they treat the players as one object for the course of like unwanted attention for the mission, but it's the same as the directives, right? Where you you do something for you, but it's unwanted for the group. Okay, so unwanted attention, complication, or consequence, and he needs you to help with something. Okay, yeah, I mean, I think this is a common thing, right? That what's the cost on like a sword in the game normally? Because we got to figure out how much.
A cred.
Okay, all right. So it'll cost you the cred, but that's a formality, right? It's the favor that really matters. And what kind of problems would someone like this have that a person like Neat could help him with? Let me think about it. Let me think about the complication and what he asks you. Let's take a break, and I'll try to have something for you when we come back. All right, cool. Stick around, everybody. We got lots more cyberpunk when we come back.